Hello, this is Cheryl, and I'm so grateful you're joining me today. Trust that this safe and loving space is exactly where you are meant to be, to ignite your higher self and empower you in this very moment in time. There are no coincidences, so trust the nudges that call to you. As I open, channel, and share today's light filled conversation, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. We are all working to uncover the truths that will serve us on our unique journeys. Each new day brings discovery, and this truth is always empowering, illuminating, and available to us. Now is your moment to deepen your spiritual connection. If it's light, it's right. Hello, and welcome back to If It's Light, It's Right. We're now on to part three of the five-part series on dreams. In our last episode, we explored prophetic and problem-solving dreams and how they reveal that inner gift, that foresight. They help us find clarity and comfort. And sometimes they find ease with the decisions we face or need to make. It's a beautiful relationship in our dreams that give us insight. They give us understanding of our path moving forward. So embrace those dreams and hold on, because today we're going to dive deeper. Because remember, even in our sleep, our light is always guiding us. It's always supporting and gently nudging us forward on our path. So, as we touch into today's episode, which sometimes people automatically put the brakes on, and I say, release the brakes. That's part of today's process. That's part of today's empowerment. So today we're going to move into the dreams, which I call release dreams, which are short and easy name is the nightmares, right? So already I know people are going, oh, nightmares, right? Oh, I remember this nightmare. It came from me as a child, and it still scares me to this day. And I agree. I too have had nightmares, true nightmares. But now that I look at them in a different light, no pun, and beautifully punned in words, it changes the magnitude of how it touches me. It's a much different view now. So I want to give and offer you that view. I want to do that for you as well. So today we talk about dreams in our release dreams and our nightmares. We're also going to talk about children's dreams and how those night terrors are a little different than an adult dream, and just talk very briefly about that. And then we're going to talk about nightmares. Again, all nightmares are not all release dreams, but nightmares in particular, I do use that word because that negative rooted word that attaches with it. And I want to give it wings and let it fly. I want to talk about how the foundations and the elements of dreams. And I'm also going to share with you a personal share that was scary. But when I stepped back, and I even empowered myself inside the dream. So I'm going to just give you that opportunity to look through that lens as well before we wrap up for episode 3 today. So when we go into nightmares, I want to just tell you that nightmares have purpose. Release dreams have that purpose. They're not just disturbances in the night, but they are actually a way that our higher self, and remember that alliance is always there. Dreams are not random. Our free will, our beautiful gift that follows us through all of an eternity and here on this earth's plane, even when we are in physical form. Dreams are not random. And so knowing that helps us to understand these release dreams and how they're named that way, right? You release them. It brings to the surface and releases them. This episode, again, I'm going to really work to thread in often that they are not scary. They might be scary because our ego mind is up and at 'em, right? Because if we remember our dreams, we're awake in our dreams, right? But it is a way to understand and acknowledge, and trusting your higher self moving you to a place that says, okay, I'm gonna let this go, or I need to acknowledge something and then let it go. And again, that will be part of a very brief share I'm going to do with you to show and illustrate how that was for me when I uncovered what it meant. And I'm going to give you some of those tools for you to to magnify and understand your release dreams. So remember again that dreams are not random. It is an alliance between our sleeping and waking mind. And again, our higher self is always working to help us in this journey. Our ego, our waking self, our rational thought, our thinking mind is not. It works against that. But again, we come into this journey knowing. We come into this journey knowing that this is going to be a difficult walk. We know that. So our dreams are just another avenue for the light to hold out its hand to you. Because when you can clear that urge chatter at any time, sleeping or waking, light can come through. Understanding truth, my path. Our heart holds all these answers. But again, our human walk is very difficult and it's not always available to us. But remember, we can clear that urge chatter when we sleep. We wouldn't be able to sleep. And for some of us that have busy minds like myself, we know that difference, right? We know that I can't sleep because my brain is just on full tilt. But again, when you can shut that our chatter down is when sleep occurs. And our human bodies do need that sleep. But it also it becomes an avenue where light can talk to us, can try and infiltrate that concrete block of humanness sometimes. So again, if only you take away in this episode or this series that dreams are not random, that would be a beautiful lighted gift for yourself. That the curiosity of why would I dream that? That dream meant something to me. I woke up saying, that was weird or funny or interesting if you follow me in my episodes. Um, that's interesting. That is really interesting. That's a lean into spirit. That's a lean into the light giving you a gentle little knock on the noggin, right? Come on, come forward, open up a little bit more. See what I'm trying to help you with. Um, but again, remember, no rules, no have-tos, no timelines. So when we dream, it is a personal experience. It is a unique experience because my path and my spirit is unique. So the messages mean only what they mean to me. To me. You can't find a book of dreams soup to nuts. I've always said, and I will keep remaining to say, the book picks you. So if your higher self speaks to you through the book, then it will mean something. But you cannot capture all my symbols, all what means to me in every dream in a book. That does not happen. But there are what I term archetypes. So there are specific symbols that generally mean the same thing for all of us in our dream state. And I'll talk about that in episode 5. But again, there's no one size fits all. So be open to your interpretation. And that's the deep message there. So when we dream, basically and I'm not a scientist like my daughter, but I'm not, I really am just going to serve it soup to nuts. When we dream, there's 2 basic stages. There's more, but there's 2 basic. There's non-REM, which is our deepest sleep. And that's where we are approximately 75% of our time. That's when we astral travel, that we don't remember. Those are that within our deepest of sleep, when that chatter is just lights out. And then there's a REM sleep, which is our lightest of sleep, which occurs about 25% of our night. Now, again, that's very variable, person to person, night to night. Those are very general terms. But that is when we're in our lightest state of sleep, or that is where dreams kind of come through, number one, and that we remember, right? Because I have to awake in my dream in order to understand or come to that unique relationship, right? We dream all the time. I don't feel like I'm a big dreamer because I don't choose to embrace the memory of dreams. If I can get to sleep, I'm like, all right, have at it. But on occasion, and I'll share one again with as a share, they do just say, okay, I'm giving you a spiritual mule kick. You need this. And sometimes I ask for it. Sometimes I ask for the dream and I start, and I encourage you to do the same. Start a dream or say, okay, I need help. I'm feeling A, B, or C. Can you offer me comfort in my dreams? And let me be awake in them. Awaken me, right? Awaken me. And sometimes that's where the nightmares occur, because sometimes the events that we author make it so so memorable in so many different emotions that it forces our waking self to wake. And just give that some thought, some deep thought. If it was just mundane and just yada 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 yada, I probably wouldn't wake. But when you have a traumatic event, or something that breeds so much emotion to you, aka fear, right? Scaredness, that's where our dreams really wake us in a release dream, right? Like, oh my gosh, what was that? Right? And we wake straight up. Um, but I have to say, open your lighted view and say, but why did I want to remember that? Why was that event so needed for me? And don't feel fear. Try to dismiss that as much as you can. And I understand it's difficult, but try to really say, okay, I'm shutting off my human mind. And what is my light trying to tell me? What is my light giving me, offering me in comfort and healing? Because that is the ultimate goal of every darkest dream. And I'm going to just stay in that frame. Every dream, correct. But even in these release/nightmare dreams, and these are the hardest dreams for people to understand, that I give these to myself, or I author them. And again, I'm not suggesting that. I'm not forcing that. It's your light. You decide you want to dismiss that and kick that in the garbage can. Then you do that, and you smile all the way, right? No have tos. No have tos. Kick it. And that is not a dream I'm going to choose to, that I'm just going to table that, or that is your beautiful free will to do exactly what you need to do with it. Always, always, always. So again, the goal is the comfort and healing. And again, they're not random. They're personal experiences, and they're meant to help us emotionally release something. Maybe unresolved fears or emotions, or pressure, or just think of all the Earth's emotions that are not serving, right? The Earth's emotions that are serving and beautiful, those are found in the next dreams that we're going to talk about, as wish dreams, and those feel good dreams. That's the next episode. Those don't need a lot of explanation. They just feel good, right? And our light knows what feels good. It's these dreams that are very difficult for us to find understanding. Why would I? A, B, or C. But if you can shift your fear to empowerment, and empowerment's a lighted word, empowerment is truth, it's healing, it's light, it's comfort, then the ultimate goal, that is the ultimate goal of our darkest dream, is to just shift that fear. Nothing harms you in your dreams, right? Nothing can harm you in your dreams. And when you can recite that affirmation, maybe that's the empowerment that you need. That is not prophetic. I do not feel that in my light that's prophetic, that will occur. It is trying to teach me something. I ask for more help. I give me more signs in my waking hours or in my dream hours. I know many, many clients that's how their light and their comfort and their path works, is the communication that they have in their dreams. Dreams talk to them and help them. So be open to how your unique connection is. And if that is not your connection now, you can move to find that, right? Free will. Remember your free will. Remember your light. It's an alliance. It's a beautiful lighted alliance, giving us what we need always, and never held back. So where do these deepest fears reside? And again, that superlative, deeper, deepest, deep, that is for your interpretation and for your uniqueness, right? For your unique situation. So stay open to that. It's held in our subconscious. It's held underneath sometimes even our waking state, right? Our consciousness is our waking state. So it's sometimes held under that, depending on where we are. And sometimes you have to emotionally exhale. Just let it out. Let it out. I had a client one time that came in asking about, in her dream, and it certainly was a release dream. We went through um, a, a very simple dream piece, and it was a release dream, and it was a significant necklace that she wore that broke, and she was so upset that it broke. So again, that emotion of being upset, not scared, not fearful, just upset that it broke. Um, and why was I so upset? And that being the action of it breaking. There was many other pieces in her dream. I call that just kind of static. It's not necessary. It really, I say, pay attention to the emotion in the dream, not when you awake, in the dream, and possibly what was the action that was happening in there. Because our spirits work in action. Our spirits work in verbs. So the verbs are really important to give us understanding of why. So when we moved and channeled and opened to it, that necklace had significance because someone gave her that necklace. And that breaking of the necklace was part of the reading. Do I stay in this relationship? It broke. I must have to leave this relationship. Again, that's where her rational mind took it. But that is not where the light takes us. The light takes us to say, I see, and you need to get some air between that. Not that you should leave or stay. That is not what our light will tell us very often, because it is our human decisions, because it is only us and only our uniqueness that will, I'll use that word, judge, when we move to the other side. It is just us. So very often they don't say that, but when we wake, that ego takes hold of it and narrates it, right? Puts a spin on it, makes her fearful. I should leave, or what will happen if I don't leave? And again, where your ego and where it takes you in your thoughts and how we embellish. I will always say, we all go there, but you have to be mindful and lightedly mindful to say, nope, that is not what my dream means. Maybe it's just giving me a clarity and understanding that light sees, feels, and hears where I am and how I am in this turmoil of what to do. Sometimes that is all light is having you do, or nudging you to say, open to what feels light and right for you to do. Do you stay? Do you go? Do you work on things? Do you have conversations? What is it that will speak to you? And so those were aspects of how the read went, and it spoke to her heart. And again, our heart has all the answers. Don't let ego embellish and finish it for us. That is not serving. That will roll us around in more of those uncomfortable verbs, right? So be mindful. Remember empowerment. So what are some dreams? What are the characteristics of release/nightmares? Well, they're not enjoyable. They're rarely happy, right? Those are not the type of dreams that are release dreams. And I just gave you that quick little example. Sometimes it can be comical and absurd, but there's an element of release in it. Sometimes they're not scary, but they're like, what the heck was that all about? Right? Why would I ever dream of that? That is so fantastical. Maybe confusing, but not scary, right? Disturbing. And again, follow where your emotion was in the dream, right? Resist where you take it when you wake up from it, right? Really, really put that that fence up and say, no, 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 I'm just gonna go back into that dream and what I was feeling in that dream and the action that was in that. What was, or sometimes there's also people that are in there. Sometimes they are static and sometimes they're very purposeful. So stay with what feels light and right for you, because that is always the goal. When we awake, our mind will take it to the worst case scenario, right? It will go, depending on the height of that nightmare, or did it hit a karmic aspect to me too? Is this something that I work with my in this walk, in this lifetime, and did that just hit that sensitive nerve, and boom, here I go, 0 to 100, right? So be mindful, and don't take it to worst case scenario. As soon as our brain awakes to what we dreamt of, sometimes we go to really darker places. So tell your awake mind, okay, that was certainly a release dream or a nightmare or whatever you want to name it, an icky dream, whatever you want to name it. There's no specific name. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to sit with that. And that's what I do very often in my light work. All right, I got a message. I know that was something, but I'm not in a place to kind of go all the way. I'm just going to sit and digest with that. I'm going to just see what comes more. See maybe what resonates. I'm snapping my fingers. What resonates more in my day. Because again, if I ask for that help, the help will come. I just have to be open for it. And I have to always remind myself, and maybe an affirmation, is that was not meant to scare me. It was meant for comfort, or it was meant for awakening. It was meant for acknowledgement. It was meant to just let me let go of what is subconsciously holding me. Sometimes those affirmations are just, that powder keg of just like release. And that is how the name is birth, release dreams, right? Just let it come to the surface, or deep six it, right? Throw it in the garbage. All right, I got it. Goodbye. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Goodbye. Again, see what feels light and right for you, and there's no have tos. There's no have tos. I'm going to just talk very briefly about when children dream in this release state. We kind of coin them as night terrors. And I'm certainly going to keep that. I'm again, there's no rules, there's no have tos, there's no specific names. But that's one that we kind of identify when children have them. I have to remind you, and you certainly can look back at a previous episode when I talk about we are most psychic at birth. Most psychic means we are just fresh from the other side. We've just incarnated into this life. So we are still very, very connected to the other side. So because of that, children dream differently than adults. They don't have the experience of acclimating on this life's earth. Acclimating on sometimes bigger and deeper troubles, right? Or they don't have to worry about money at 1, 2, and 3 years old. They don't have to worry about those adult things. So adults dream differently than children. And remember, children are just crossed over. So their communication to the other side is so much deeper than ours, even in waking state and in dream state. That veil between the two realms is so thin with children. Again, we're most psychic at birth, and around age 7 or 8, we fall into that acclimation of moving in the Earth's journey, because we have to. That being that tight in understanding of the lighted realm is a very, very difficult place to be and have to be here on this Earth's plane, because the eternity and the peace and tranquility that exists on the other side is Earth is its alter ego, right? It is the exact opposite. But we come here by choice, by free will, and by knowing. But when a child has these dreams, it really is that thin veil. Sometimes, no, not always. It is that push and pull. And it is that emerging ego, right? Kind of opening up to the earth. So when children awaken, they don't have sometimes it's very scary for them, not only because they're young, and they don't have comfort on the earth's plane. They are very scared, because when their ego wakes from this, and they fall out in between, that is very frightening for a child at times, of the earth's plane, never of the light, but it's the imbalance. It's that thinness, and not understanding how these two worlds are a part of me now. It is an experience of their spirit, and recognizing home, and maybe past lifetimes, maybe loved ones from the other side. Very often, moms and dads from the other side connect with them in their sleeping, to give them comfort, to give them, I'm here, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But when our waking mind, even in a child, wakes, sometimes um, that's a really difficult place. Even when night terrors, they don't truly wake up. They're kind of in that in-between state. Very often they're kind of trying to work through that. But know, if that occurs, that there is so much light on the other side that is trying to give them comfort. So know that in your heart. Open your heart and feel it. Um, is my child experiencing one of these? And just give them comfort in whatever waking way you can, without instilling a little bit more fear with them. Or you can ask them questions and see what they interpret, but ask them with light, love, and with comfortable hands, and trust what they say. Don't question it. Let them air out their release, right, wherever that is. And again, children especially are so full of light. Um, they are never, they're never, they are most strong in their spirit, much stronger than us, because they are so close to the veil from just coming. So trust that. Open your heart, and seek that comfort as well. I'm going to take a little break, and then we're going to talk about nightmares and how they're rooted, foundations, and elements. Be right back. So nightmares, we know, are negatively rooted, right? That negative word, that negative emotion, they're rooted. But let's work to uncover that, in order to give us some interpretation, and therefore some empowerment and some light on these very, very difficult dreams at times. And then I'll go into my quick share. So the foundations of a nightmare are negative, right? There's negative emotions, maybe shame or guilt, resentment, anger, regret, embarrassment. And sometimes they're varying levels, right? A nightmare could be like super, super traumatic. And then just like, oh my goodness, that was very embarrassing, right? That's a very different level of emotions, and height of emotions. So just be open for it. Remember, they're release dreams. We coin them nightmares when they're very troubling, but release dreams are just all of that, right? It's not always to a high level. There's all differing degrees, but they do work to release something. Um, and when we have those negative experiences, sometimes we hold them inside for years, sometimes entire lifetimes. Sometimes it's karmic. Sometimes it's a past lifetime that comes in. It shows itself to us. Um, I will say, if that's a trueness, if a past lifetime does show itself to you, I don't consider that a release dream. I consider that an astral travel, right? A trueness of our spirit moving. But sometimes we have the karmic aspect that comes in. Maybe not the true past lifetime, but sometimes, I always say too, dreams blend. They blend. So sometimes we get a little of two dreams. Sometimes, and I'm going to talk about the astral travel in the next episode, but I'm going to give it a head start now. So how about if a past lifetime experience comes in, but it also brings in a karmic aspect. So a past lifetime, let's say your life got ended. Your life got ended in a past lifetime in a certain experience. Maybe there was a drowning, and that is how a past lifetime experience happened. So you revisited that past lifetime. You felt maybe being underwater and feeling helpless, or maybe you saw things around you that really dealt with the past lifetime. But then your release dreams brought it maybe to this day. Maybe you saw yourself in a pool, a swimming pool, drowning. And so can you see how that karmic aspect in the trueness of a past lifetime, but how you kind of spin it to a release dream or a nightmare, like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to go in that. I'm not going to visit that pool next week, or I'm not going to go swimming because this is going to happen to me. Your heart knows all your answers. I can never channel as you can't the uniqueness of your dream, but they do blend. So open your heart and see where the facts, the spiritual enlightened facts of that dream were. It was not to scare you, very, very unusually. And I'm going to put a big exclamation to that, is propheticness. And that was in episode 2. They very often, they do not tell you how, they do not express that this is going to happen in the future. Often those are release dreams and a fear. And again, feel that emotion. Feel that emotion, because the elements of a nightmare take those greatest fears and they create the worst of. Right. And sometimes they blend in heaviness and darkness, just as I did give that quick explanation of drowning in being in a swimming pool now. Again, you might be working through that karmic aspect of being frightful of water. Absolutely. But that is what release dreams are for, to acknowledge, okay, I am afraid of water. I did end a lifetime by that means. So that makes sense. But that is not of this lifetime. So I'm choosing to release that. I'm choosing to let that go. I'm not choosing to hold that on any longer. I know in my heart that is not how I will leave this earth. So again, those affirmations of light, of your heart's knowledge, will give you those answers. And very often, those are what come through in readings. That I know I'm going to die this way. And then the channel comes through about a past lifetime or a different aspect. In the sitter will say, that does speak in my heart. There is something there. And I will say too, if you feel a curiosity or even a slight lightness in what you uncover in what resonates, then that is a beautiful path to start walking and release the darkness. Remember, free will trumps all. Light trumps all when we are empowered. But that ego, it's going to take a walk with it. It's going to bring you to worst case. It's going to embellish. It's going to sometimes set fire to your light. I know that sounds like the oxymoron too, but I think you understand the metaphor on that one. But again, stay light. Stay light. Don't let it bring you to those dark places. So let's just interpret. Talks a little bit about interpreting your nightmare in particular. In episode 5, I do get into a broader sense of symbolism, that sort of thing. But this is an important one because the nightmares are one that we need to work on probably the most, those release dreams. And why? Why did I dream that? Right? And that emotion that you feel will kind of let you know what type of dream it is. So when I'm talking about dreams, stay simple. Stay simple. Analyze your dream, and I am using a human word. Analyze your dream with generalities. When I say that, don't fine tune every single thing that's in your dream. Don't. That makes things too hard to juggle. And yeah, but why was this person in here, and why was I there, and what was I doing? Again, stay simple. Spirit works and talks to us in a simple and concrete way. Know your emotions. What were the emotions that you were feeling in your dream? And sometimes you gotta like I said, slam that gate. As soon as you wake up, don't go there, right? Go back to that dream and how you felt, and don't talk yourself out of what you were feeling. Even though your mind says, yeah, but how could I have felt not fearful when this was happening? When I was drowning, how come I couldn't feel? How come that wasn't fearful for me? Don't. That is the ego trying to narrate your ending. Stay where your dream was, and in the wholeness, and not the specific details, right? Not the specific details. So emotions, I always say, are a kingpin for the light. And then secondary is maybe the action that's happening. On occasion, the people that are there, but sometimes the people you don't know, but sometimes that is a whole reason why you've authored them in. So be open to those pieces, and note what keeps showing up. Are you having a reoccurring release dream, but a certain aspect keeps showing up? Does a person keep showing up? Is there a setting that keeps showing, or a situation that keeps showing up? Manifest in different ways, but still a specificness, and that you keep keying into. That is a big aha for your light to say, for your light giving you that nudge. All right, I'm going to give you another way. I'm going to give it to you another way, but it comes through the same way. Very often it's for the same reason of light, love, and comfort, of light, love, and comfort. So how do you translate your release dream? I need to remind you, this is your experience, right? I use this catalog very often. My husband is frightful of black cats. And if he puts a black cat in his dream, it sends him to the moon. He'll wake up and say, oh my goodness, I found, and even in waking life, he sees a black cat, he won't cross his path. All those silly rules. Well, I call them silly rules, and they're silly to him. If I see a cat in my dream, I'll go and pat it. Like there is not a fear that I associate with a black cat. So again, understand your experience. You're unique. If that is something that's fearful in your waking moments, like in my husband and a black cat, and you put that in your dream, that might mean something to you. There might be a reason why your higher self is giving you that big polarized symbol. Like when you're afraid of cats, black cats especially. So if it's a black cat, there's something for you maybe to recognize, right? If that be his dream state. So again, understand how you work, and trust how you feel with symbols, or feel with settings or situations is very purposeful, possibly in that dream, right? Because we are unique. Our spirits are unique. And again, our higher self is trying to communicate with our waking self, with our conscious self. So it will try to infiltrate and give us explanations that will make sense in our minds, in our thinking. So be open to that. Don't feel imprisoned by it, but be open to it. And why, and in your dream saying, why does that feel so important? Like that person with the necklace. Why was that specific necklace so, it wasn't just a necklace, it was a specific necklace that meant something to her. Why was that so important that it broke? It broke. And she felt it in her dream, right? She felt it in her dream. Why does that dream, why is that necklace so important to me? And again, that is an earmark that, what do I need to release? What do I need to kind of see and understand there? What am I afraid of? What does that make me think of? So again, your unique connection is most important. And I'm going to dismantle and empower you with my share in just a moment. I'll be right back. So this share is about understanding your nightmare, dismantling it, and feeling empowered. And again, it was so interesting. This dream was so interesting. And I'm going to go through the things to remember, then I'll share with you my dream. Because what you choose to do in your dream, as I did, is empowering, and you can do it. Dreams happening, you have a part in it. So play a part in it when it speaks to your light, and you'll hear how that kind of came through in mine. So address what needs to be resolved because your higher self is always nudging you, right? So understanding that dreams, dismantling it and feeling empowered, address it, right? What needs to be resolved? You can't change what you don't acknowledge. And that doesn't mean you have to do action towards it. Sometimes it's just like, this is true. This is true. And that is kind of how my share worked as well. I get it. I get it now. State to your waking self that this is just a dream, no facts to support, right? So when you wake up and you're fearful or you're scared or you're like, why? All right, this is just a dream and dreams can't hurt me. But why was it coming? Maybe you're not ready for that second part. Maybe you say, okay, I'm not ready for why did it come? I just have to remind myself this is just a dream. It's almost when we're watching a movie that's scary, right? This is just fiction. This is not a real story. So don't carry that. Don't bring those emotions in with you, right? And sometimes we even bring those into our dream state, as you know. So again, stay to your waking self and with those facts. Acknowledge, as I said before, when a troubling dream keeps surfacing, there is something there, right? If it's an aspect that keeps coming around and around and you feel it, there's something for you to acknowledge. Or again, maybe in your lifetime, I've heard that with clients too. Here, my dreams just started coming back again. I'm starting to dream about this. And so when we explore and channel it, it makes sense to her what the light is telling her. So that has come around again. That is true. Um, feeling very troubled about my relationship. So that makes sense why that's coming through again. It might not be the same relationship, so be open to how we manifest that as well. But that is, yeah, and very often there's a karmic tie to it, right? If I'm coming in with some karmic aspects of not feeling worthy in a relationship, this dream is here to remind me, knock, knock, knock. Right? Not here to scare me, not here to fear me, make me fear or tell me how unlovable I am, right? It's there to say, hey, recognize that. This is something that you're working on, not something that is going to harm you. It's not something that you're going to make come true. It's just something that you need to acknowledge. You need to acknowledge it. And sometimes that moves us to do more professional seeking out that speaks to us, that makes us feel light and right about where we need to go. So be open to that. And again, you can change your dream's outcome. You can change your dream's outcome. You have the power. So listen to my empowerment and really understand. I'm going to try and really hit the details that spoke to me. So I was in my actual house. So when you're in when you're in a setting that you're either very comfortable with, that sometimes is what I call an archetype. And in this case, it was. I was in my actual house. I was in my lower level house, and I have stairs that come that I have 2 floors, so they upstairs come to, but I was at the lower level. And in my dream, I could feel fear. I could feel that someone was coming to injure me, that trouble was pending. And I remember just sitting still and feeling that fear of what is coming. I couldn't see anything in my dream, but I I could sense it. And all of a sudden, there was a very, very, I authored this person in, obviously. It was a very famous medium, psychic medium. And she was running down my stairs with a knife in her hand. And I knew she was impending to pierce me with that. That was where my fear is. And she came with venom in her face and her distortedness in her look. Like she was so angry and dark and she was coming to injure me. And I saw her coming and I chose to empower myself in the dream. And I put my hand out and I yelled in my dream so loud, my throat hurt. And I said, "Stop!" With the stop sign in my hand, the hand being raised. And then I woke. And I woke. And I don't know if I mentioned, but she had a knife in her hand. I don't know if I mentioned that, but so she was going to do me harm. And I sat right up And I know I didn't make human sound because my husband did not wake up. But I was like, "Holy moly, what was that?" Right? And I could feel the big pieces were the setting was very comfortable. It was my home. Um, and this famous psychic medium, I authored in there not because of her, but because of what she symbolized. Right? She was someone that is. I love her work. She's genuine, and and she was coming to harm me. So when I opened for my interpretation, in that fear I had, and I had fear in my dream, but I empowered that. And so what it was I, in my waking self, because we all are perfectly imperfect, as I am as too, there was an aspect that I was saying, oh, she does this so well. I wish I could do that more, right? That's my human self as a psychic medium, or as I'm a spiritual medium, same piece, a little different but same. And so I was saying, oh, I wish I could do A, B, and C as well as she could, right? And that is my human mind finding fault, finding insecurity. And so when she was coming at me and I said, no, that was me empowering my light. That was my higher self and my guides and my light saying, Cheryl, you are gifted in your gift, right? Because we can never look at the next person, because that's what we do in our human self, right? I wish I had a better body. I wish I had better hair. I wish I had more money, right? All those ego, earth pieces, insecurities, wants, right? We all have them. We are all perfectly imperfect. And for me, that was a aha lighted moment saying, yes, I have my gifts. My gifts are different than her gifts, are different than your gifts, right? And I honor mine without saying, I wish I had. And so by me empowering myself in my dream, I woke up and I said, I am worthy. I am doing my God's work. I am doing what speaks to me in my mission work. And stop. Put the God reels down on expectations, on those aspects. And that really spoke to me in that moment, because that was a trueness of where I was in my lifetime at that time. And I take that with me. So I take that vision with me. It has become an affirmation of sorts for me, a reminder to say, when you kind of do that, or when you kind of fall into your ego, even in your work, in that's a very wide range. Bring it back. Bring it back. Don't judge yourself. Don't have tos. And no rules. Speak your truth. Move what feels light and right in your heart. Your heart is different and unique and beautiful, just as you are listening. You are beautiful and unique. You have your gifts. And again, empower yourself. Released dreams are often the darkest, most haunting of our dreams. But take heart, they weren't created to scare or harm you. In truth, they come from your higher self surfacing not to wound, but to release. Just as their name suggests, they rise to be acknowledged, given air, and then set free so you can find peace. These dreams are not meant to hurt you. They are meant to heal you. And when you choose to view them through the light of your higher wisdom, through your heart, you can begin to let go of the heaviness the ego brings. The emotions you feel within the dream, not necessarily upon waking, offer powerful insight into what your soul is gently helping you to face or process. So instead of fearing these dreams, empower yourself. Within the dream, face what feels like an adversary. Remember, it is your dream. It is a creation, but never one designed to deepen your pain. If that truth feels light and right in your heart, you're already walking the path of understanding how your inner light forms a loving alliance with you on your journey. And yes, free will exists in dream state too. No fear. just trust. And onward the walk of our light continues. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on your journey today. There's so much for us to explore and learn together. If there's a light-filled topic you're curious about, or if you just want to reach out, I'd love to connect. Follow me on social media at Cheryl Bradley Medium, or visit cherylbradley.com to explore my offerings and events. I hope today's episode has filled you with the light to carry with you until we meet again. And let the title of this podcast stay with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Blessings on your journey.